Hi, I'm Jennifer, the office manager here at EarthBox, and this is how to assemble an automatic watering system. The great thing about the EarthBox is all you have to do is water, but with the automatic watering system, you don't even need to do that. Whether you have physical limitations, time limitations, or you just don't want to do the work, this is the solution for you. Now, let's go over the parts to the automatic watering system. This is our water fill tube. This is the right length, so if you have a water fill tube that is either longer than this or with a curled edge, you will have to replace it with this water fill tube. If not, you can just leave the tube that you have in your EarthBox there. This is our water sensor. This works off of air pressure in the water reservoir of your EarthBox. It will not overflow your EarthBox, and it will work each individual box separately. If you have a box of tomatoes and a box of green beans, the tomatoes will need more water than the green beans. You don't have to worry about that. They will fill individually. It has an 1/8 inch barb that you connect to your 1/8 inch tubing, and this goes right in, fits into the water fill tube. You'll notice these forks, they will slide right onto the water fill tube. When you receive your kit, you'll receive an assembly like this. If you need to replace your water fill tube, you will use this one. Otherwise, you can just take the sensor out and put it in the existing water fill tube. The forks will attach to the top of the tube, like so. This is our white T connector. It has 3 1/4 inch barbs, which will connect to your large 1/4 inch tubing. This is used to go from your water source and be able to split off into 2 rows of the EarthBoxes. This is our black T connector. It has 2 1/4 inch barbs and an 1/8 inch barb. This will connect your 1/4 inch large tubing to your 1/8 inch small tubing, which connects then to your sensor and your EarthBox. If you get a 2-box kit, you will receive 1 of these. A 6-box kit will get 5, and a 12-box kit will get 11. This is our reducer. This has a 1/4 inch barb and an 1/8 inch barb. This will connect your large 1/4 inch tubing to your small 1/8 inch tubing to your sensor on the last box in the row. This is our water regulator. It has a 1/4 inch barb, which will connect to your 1/4 inch tubing to your water source. This is the most important piece, as it will regulate your water pressure to 20 psi. It comes with a washer screen assembly, so it will stay tight and it will prevent any debris from getting into your tubing. This is our 1/8 inch tubing. This connects the 1/4 inch tubing to the sensors, to the EarthBox, and so on. This is our 1/4 inch tubing. This will connect directly to the water source and run to the 1/8 inch tubing and connect to all of your EarthBoxes. Each kit will come with instructions. The instructions are both words and pictures, so they're very easy to follow and will help you to get ready to assemble your automatic watering system. The first thing you need to do when assembling your automatic watering system is you need to attach the regulator to your water source. You want to make sure you do this first, because if you attach your 1/4 inch tubing, you won't be able to screw this on to your water source. Now, before you get started, if you only have 1 water source outdoors, we suggest that you buy a Y splitter at any local hardware store, so then you will still have access to your hose and you will be able to also attach your automatic watering system. We suggest that you get the Y connector that has 2 different on and off turn knobs, because then you won't leave your hose on all the time. What you want to do is make sure your water source is off. Make sure that you have your washer screen assembly. And then what you'll do is you'll just attach it to your water source. Make sure it's nice and tight so you get a good seal. Our next step is to take our 1/4 inch tubing and attach it to the regulator. I like to use a nice pair of rubbered gloves and just twist and turn it until it gets over the barb. Our next step would be to measure out our 1/4-inch tubing. In this example, I'm going to run 2 rows of EarthBoxes, so I'm only going to measure my tubing to the beginning of each row. But if you're going to do a single row of EarthBoxes, you'll want to run your line all the way to the end of your last box. So our next step, make sure we have enough line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my tubing at the end of my first 2 rows. Next, I'm going to attach my white T-connector with the 3 1/4-inch barbs. I'm going to attach my water source to the T. Make sure you get it in there right up until the edge of the barb. This will give you a good seal. The next thing I want to do is I want to take more 1/4-inch tubing and attach it to the side of the barb for the first row, and then I'll repeat that for the other side of the barb to do my second row. After I've attached my 1/4-inch tubing to my white T-connector, I'm going to run my 1/4-inch tubing to the length of my last EarthBox. Once I've done that, I'm going to cut it to length. Our next step is I want to attach the sensor to the 1/4-inch tubing. The 1/8-inch tubing is going to run from the 1/4-inch tubing up to the sensor. If you have a water-filled tube that already is at the correct length, of course, you won't need this one. I suggest that you start by putting your sensor in first so that you have a correct measurement. Make sure that the forks are pushed all the way down and that your water-filled tube is all the way down into the bottom of the box. This is a very important step. The next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to mount to make sure my 1/4-inch tubing is to the edge of my box. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. My next step is I'm going to take our black T-connector, which has the 2 1/4-inch barbs and an 1/8-inch barb. I'm going to attach that to my 1/4-inch tubing. I'm going to attach the other end of my 1/4-inch tubing. And you'll see now I have room to attach my 1/8-inch tubing. What I like to do before I attach to the T-connector, I like to attach to my sensor. It seems to be an easier way to measure. So I attach my 1/8-inch tubing. I measure it down, give myself a little bit of length, cut it there. And attach it to the T. Once you've completed this, you can move on to the next box in your row of EarthBoxes. Now that I'm at the end of the line of EarthBoxes, I want to finish off my last EarthBox using a reducer. So the first thing in the step to do is, again, take your water sensor, put that in your water-filled tube, making sure the forks are connected. Get it down in nice and tight. The next thing I want to do is I want to take my reducer, which has a 1/4-inch barb and an 1/8-inch barb. I'm going to put the 1/4-inch side into my 1/4-inch tubing. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 1/8-inch tubing, attach it to my sensor, and I'm going to measure down, leaving a little bit of slack to my reducer. I'll cut that there. and attach that to the end. This will finish off your water source line and the end of your row. Now that we've completed our first row, we're going to continue using the same steps through our second row after we connect our 1/4 inch tubing to the white T connector. And now that your automatic watering system assembly is complete, all you need to do is turn on your water. And you're all set. The EarthBox automatic watering system comes in a 2, a 6, and a 12 box kit. It's available at earthbox.com. I'm Jennifer, and this has been How to Assemble an Automatic Watering System. Thank you and happy harvest.